Shannon Sharpe, leave that white alone.
Shannon Sharpe told her that if she would lose enough weight for him, he would buy her some artificial breasts. Now that's very puzzling to me, Art, because she's already extra skinny.
He really want a 17-year-old, but he can't. He's an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old. So here it is, he at the gym working out. He's showing up at the gym with them big old black legs.
Shannon Sharpe is heated after comedian Monique put him on blast during her stand-up set, cracking jokes about his messy legal battle with an OnlyFans model who's suing him for a jaw-dropping $50 million. The moment went viral fast, and insiders say Shannon is not taking it lightly. He's feeling betrayed, especially since he expected his celeb circle to stand by him, but instead he's getting clowned. But here's the twist. Fans are dragging Shannon right back, reminding him that Monique already warned him months ago on Club Shay Shay. She straight up told him to stop chasing after women who only see dollar signs when they look at him. Monique didn't sugarcoat anything. She warned him this kind of drama was waiting around the corner if he didn't switch things up. Shannon brushed it off like it was nothing. Now look, his image is crumbling in real time. Even if he somehow beats this lawsuit, it's not gonna erase the damage. That $100 million podcast deal, it's hanging by a thread. Sponsors are backing out, and even folks who used to ride for him are falling back. So now everyone's asking, what exactly did Monique say this time that's got Shannon so pressed?
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
Why is he lashing out at her when she was the only one who tried to keep it real with him from the jump? And let's be real, most people were shocked by the allegations, but not Monique. She saw it coming a mile away. She even told him, this is what happens when you play around with women way younger than you, who ain't got nothing but money on their mind. Shannon didn't listen. And now, it's all blowing up in his face. After all the chaos surrounding Shannon Sharpe and that OnlyFans model exploded, fans were itching to hear Monique's take, and trust, she delivered. During her set on Cat Williams' Heaven on Earth comedy tour, Monique didn't hold back. She reminded the crowd that she tried to school Shannon, but he didn't want to hear it. And let's be real, Monique basically said what everybody else has been whispering.
Oh, baby, yes, I told that Shannon Sharpe, leave that white alone.
Shannon did this to himself. Here's the backstory. Started blowing up again. It was from Monique's appearance on Club Shay Shay, and in that interview, she called Shannon out directly. She told him straight up that dating women half his age or even younger was a bad move. She even suggested he should look for someone older, someone with more maturity and less interest in his bank account. Monique wasn't being shady, she was being real. But Shannon, he just sat there giggling like it was all jokes, while Monique gave him the kind of advice most people. Monique's always been a loud voice in the room. Some folks live for her raw honesty, while others say she goes too far or sounds preachy. But this time, even people who usually don't vibe with her are saying she hit the nail on the head. She was talking right to him, fans are saying. She laid it out plain. His flashy lifestyle and choice in women could blow up in his face. And now it's happening, just like she said. And Shannon, he laughed it off back then. But ain't nobody laughing now. Fast forward a year, and now Shannon Sharpe's down bad. He lost his ESPN gig, and this lawsuit might cost him millions. Fans are looking back at that old interview like, dang, Monique really saw the red flags before anybody else did. One fan summed it up perfectly. One thing about Monique, she might crack a joke, but she ain't never lied. Another didn't hold back, saying, Shannon Baldhead should have listened instead of laughing. Now look at him, about to cry all the way to the bank. And the internet's not cutting him any slack. Someone else posted, Shannon Sharpe got exactly what was coming. I don't know what folks been telling him behind the scenes, but he had 3 different guests on his own show, Cat Williams, Monique, and Lil Yachty, all trying to tell him his dating habits were a mess. But even after all this, after losing a huge job and getting dragged through court, Shannon still seems like he hasn't learned a thing. Word on the street is he was furious when he saw Monique flipping his drama into comedy on stage. Apparently, he felt blindsided that she turned his situation into punchlines. Sources say Shannon really thought his famous friends were going to come running to defend him. But that didn't happen. Almost no one stepped up to speak on his character, which is pretty telling if we're being honest. And now, folks ain't shedding tears for him. To a lot of people, this lawsuit isn't even the biggest issue. It's just the latest in a long list of reckless choices. Shannon's name been in headlines for all the wrong reasons for years, and now more shady stuff is starting to come out. His image is unraveling, and people are finally starting to see who he really is. One clip that's blowing up online right now shows Shannon Sharpe completely snapping on his podcast. It went down on the April 30th episode of Nightcap. They were casually talking about the 2025 NFL draft when suddenly Shannon looked off camera and yelled, "Shut the F up."
Guess what the two teams that call me on show say, what's your phone number, where you gonna be?
Who that?
Shut the f up.
Fans were stunned by how fast he lost control, and the clip is everywhere. But that meltdown isn't even the wildest part. Shannon's catching even more heat after people heard him say he'd cap his own daughter's wedding budget at $30,000 total. And this is the same man who allegedly offered that OnlyFans model $10 million to keep quiet and not file her lawsuit. You read that right, $10 million to silence someone, but just $30,000 for his own daughter's big day? The drama came up during another Nightcap episode where he and Chad Ochocinco were joking about wedding budgets. That's when Shannon said he'd give each of his daughters a $30,000 limit and laughed about them serving spaghetti and fried fish instead of anything fancy. But fans were not laughing.
My daughter's a budget. You got a budget. I don't get whatever you do after that.
What number, I mean, I don't want to be in your business, but what number you said?
30,000.
Okay. So you can have a wedding with 30,000?
I don't know what you can have. I ain't the one getting married. I don't give a damn. Hey, they better go get one of them on Friday. Hey, y'all from the South, y'all know about that fried catfish and spaghetti plate. Hey, I know somebody hooked that thing right on up. What they charge by the plate? $10.50 a head. Spaghetti, fried catfish, a piece of cornbread, and a styrofoam cup of sweet tea. That's all you're getting. Man, I'm not finna go, hey, just because they oh, hell no, man, I wish I might.
People online immediately started dragging him, especially after those leaked texts showed that Shannon was allegedly paying Gabriella, yes, the same OnlyFans girl, $25,000 per cheek. One fan posted, "This had to happen so people could finally see the real Shannon. How you throw millions at an ex-worker, but only give your daughter 30 grand for a wedding. That's wild." And if you thought that was the end of it, nope, it gets even messier. Fans are now calling out Shannon for allegedly being involved in some weird, racially charged dynamic with Gabriella. Leaked texts from their conversations had her speaking to him in ways that fans say look like fetishized race play, and the backlash is intense. People aren't just side-eyeing him anymore, they're flat out saying his behavior is off the rails.
And just one more thing about Mr. Sharpe. Not so sharp, clearly. It is my theory, just my opinion, my theory, not fact, my opinion. I think all of this RACE rhetoric that was in those text messages started with him. It started with him. It's becoming more and more clear to me, in my opinion, that he has a race fetish. He has a fetish for that type of dynamic. Think about it. This was a 19-year-old white woman when he met her. I don't know any 19-year-old white woman that's running around hollering about a big black baby and baby gravy. Shannon was a 54-year-old big black grown man from the backwoods of Georgia. Gravy sound like some he's familiar with.
In the leaked messages, Gabriella told Shannon she wanted him to put a big black baby in her. But here's the thing, Shannon never posted his side of the convo. Now fans are convinced that this whole racially charged talk was something he asked for. After all, Gabriella's a paid worker, and people are saying she was probably just doing what he told her to do.
Big black babies, he probably seen a few in his day. Born in the backwoods of Georgia where he grew up with his grandma and all them other folks. But I just don't think that came from her. Now, is she repeating it back in those text messages? Yes, that's why he released her messages, not his. Peep that, okay? We haven't seen what his responses was. And I guarantee you, when they post those messages, y'all gonna see. All of that race started with him. It's a fetish. And he could only play that kind of stuff out with a young girl. He couldn't, like Monique was trying to tell him, get an older gal. Older gal ain't going for that. They was going to immediately knew he was a freak and a weirdo. A 19-year-old don't know no better. That's why she repeated it back to him, because he said it to her first. Older men, that's why they tend to want to be with younger women. They're more impressionable. They can mold them. They can shape them to be what they want them to be. Do what they want them to do. You let him come to a 40 or 50-year-old woman talking about put a big black baby and baby gravy. We're going to be looking like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, that started with him. Mark my words. It's going to come out. But that race stuff started with
But wait, there's more. New clips keep popping up, and they're painting Shannon in a very weird light when it comes to women. One viral moment shows him admitting that he paid for a woman's divorce just because he was so sure she was the one. Seriously? He dropped coins for somebody else's divorce, but his own daughter got to stick to a $30,000 wedding budget? And then there's another clip that really had people clutching their pearls. Shannon started telling this wild bedroom story on air that was so explicit, he even left Deion Sanders speechless. Fans in the comments were like, this is exactly why we stopped watching the Shannon and Ocho show. They said he was always oversharing freaky stories that nobody asked for, and coming from a man pushing 60, it's just the industry are chiming in, and they're not siding with Shannon. One big name calling him out is Dr. Umar, who didn't mince words. He said even if this lawsuit is just a cash grab, Shannon had no business messing around with someone as young as 19. And the kicker, Gabriella allegedly refused to sign an NDA, which should have been a huge red flag. Fans are saying Shannon should have known better, but instead he let himself get caught up in scandal after scandal.
Shannon alleges that he tried to present her with an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, which every celebrity should require from anyone they engage with. Well, guess what, Art? She decides she's not going to sign the NDA. That right there was a warning to Shannon Sharpe that this 19-year-old, who you shouldn't be dating anyway because of her age, because of her race, you need to end this. If she don't want to sign an NDA dating a celebrity, you know what that means. That means if this doesn't go her way, she's going to expose you. Shannon Sharpe should have ended it right.
Now the receipts are out there, and the internet isn't letting him slide. With everything that's come out, fans are not feeling sorry for Shannon Sharpe at all. Most people say he's got no right to be mad at Monique for roasting him on stage, especially since she tried to help him months ago on Club Shay Shay with that real talk. She laid it out plain, but Shannon just laughed it off like it was a joke. And now look where he's at. He ignored the warning and kept doing his own thing, chasing clout and young girls. Now that it's all blowing up in his face, people are saying this is just karma knocking on his door. And judging by the latest updates, the consequences are real heavy. Gabriella is coming for $50 million in damages, and folks are questioning if Shannon's pockets can even handle a hit that big. His reported net worth sits around $30 million. Yeah, he earned roughly $22.5 million during his NFL days, with his biggest payday being $5 million from a deal with the Ravens worth $13.8 million overall. These days, Shannon's reportedly pulling in about $10 million a year, thanks to his podcast, brand deals, TV appearances, and his luxury cognac brand Le Portier. But even with all that, he's still trailing behind his First Take co-host Stephen A. Smith, who's sitting on a net worth of about $45 million. And Stephen A. just leveled up big time. He locked in a 5-year, $100 million deal, putting him right behind Tom Brady as one of the highest paid sports analysts in the game.
ESPN contract.
Yes, sir.
Is up next year. And the word on the street is that you want something in the range of $100 million for 5 years.
Right.
True?
It ain't false. I always want as much money as I can get. I'm not going to apologize to that. I'm a capitalist. What I would say to you is I would ask respectfully, pay attention to the industry, see what people are getting paid, see how much money they're making and what they're bringing to the table. Look at their ratings, look at their revenue that they're generating, and look at mine.
Meanwhile, Shannon's over here tangled in lawsuits and losing sponsorships. People are saying that instead of trying to come for Monique, Shannon should have been listening when she was trying to save him from himself. Now here's the craziest part. Shannon was this close to landing his own $100 million mega deal before all this legal drama hit the fan. That's right. Right before Gabriella filed the lawsuit, Shannon was in serious talks to lock down a massive podcast contract that would have bundled all his Shay Shay media content: Club Shay Shay, Nightcap with Chad Johnson, Club 520, The Bubba Dub Show, and even Humble Baddies. On April 18th, just 3 days before the lawsuit became public, Front Office Sports dropped a report saying Shannon was about to ink a deal worth more than $100 million. But now, everything's on pause. And if this deal falls apart, it'll be a devastating loss for him, both financially and career-wise. And the lawsuit? Still hanging over his head like a storm cloud. Gabriella's demanding $50 million in damages, and fans are seriously asking if Shannon's even got the funds to survive that kind of payout. Yeah, he's had a solid run with the NFL and media, but is it enough to cover this mess? To keep it real, though, even if Gabriella doesn't walk away with the full $50 million, she could still make a major dent. SA civil lawsuits are hard to win, especially when things get murky between what was consensual and what crossed the line. There's even a chance Shannon won't be held responsible at all and might walk away clean. But here's the thing, even if he beats the case in court, the reputation damage is already done. The leaked texts, the audio, people already heard him allegedly threatening to choke Gabriella. That kind of stuff sticks with the public no matter what the judge says. So yeah, Shannon might dodge the payout, but he's not dodging the fallout.
Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. It is what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so...
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you are.
Even if Shannon Sharpe walks away from court with a clean verdict, it doesn't erase what folks have now seen about how he really moves behind the scenes. This situation goes way beyond legal guilt or innocence. It's about reputation, and that's where the real damage hits. Companies like Disney, which owns ESPN, don't care about court outcomes as much as they care about headlines. If your name starts trending for all the wrong reasons, you're a liability, plain and simple. Right now, Shannon's name is toxic in the boardroom. Even if he's cleared legally, brands are going to hesitate before they cut that check or sign that contract. Nobody wants their image tied to a scandal that messy, especially not one involving leaked texts, racial undertones, and an OnlyFans model. Sure, there's a chance Shannon can pull off a comeback. He's got a big fan base, and the public loves a good redemption story. But let's be honest, that road's going to be long, and it's all because of the choices he made. He ignored solid advice from people like Monique and Cat Williams, kept the wrong folks around him, and dove headfirst into drama he should have seen coming. Getting involved with a young OnlyFans model wasn't just risky, it was reckless. It wasn't only the age gap that raised eyebrows, but the power dynamic and the creepy racial vibes in those leaked messages. That's the kind of stuff no major brand wants in their orbit, especially not one as image conscious as Disney. So the big question now is, can Shannon really come back from this, or is the damage already too deep? Right now, people aren't just watching the court case, they're watching how he handles the fallout. And if he doesn't start moving different, this could be the beginning of a long fade out instead of a comeback. And as for Monique, does Shannon really have a right to be mad at her for cracking jokes? Or is it fair game considering she literally warned him ahead of time and he chose to ignore her like it was nothing? She didn't blindside him, she tried to school him, and now that it all came true, she's just speaking on it with a mic in her hand instead of behind closed doors. So what do you think? Is Shannon just salty because the truth's coming from a stage instead of a private convo? Or is Monique out of pocket for turning his drama into punchlines? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to know what the streets are saying. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to stay locked in with all the mess, madness, and major tea. We're breaking it all down raw and unfiltered. Hit that bell so you never miss a drop. See you on the next one.